Hey, hi there. It's Crazy Cosmic Bunny again from space. And this is my second video related to autism diagnosis, late diagnosis. So, hello, welcome in. So, the first video was kind of like a small introduction. Now, I kind of want to make more videos. So I wrote a script because otherwise I would be recording this for 5 days probably and then editing pieces in, since I would forget half of the stuff I wanted to say each time. So yeah, hi, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and leave a like. And yeah, if you don't enjoy it, then don't watch it. Leave a dislike, whatever. I don't care. But yeah, I really appreciate you if you leave some feedback in the comments, leave a like, and so on. So I was diagnosed very late. I am old, as you can see from the hair of my beard and lack of hair on my head. I am old. So I was diagnosed at 41, and it answered to a lot of questions and filled almost all the holes I couldn't fit before. I tried to fill them in as much as I can, but I just couldn't. It was impossible, as if some puzzle piece was missing. No pun intended, of course. And since I have mild depression with severe depression episodes, and I have severe anxiety with physical symptoms and all that, which absolutely sucks, I tried to help myself regarding those, but something just didn't feel right. Something was missing. Like, I couldn't understand why I was irritated by some minor things, often not even understanding what actually irritated me. I just felt irritated all of a sudden, and it was incredibly frustrating. Since if somebody asked me what is it with me, what's wrong, I was like, I don't know. I couldn't even explain because I didn't know what's going on with me myself. I just didn't know. And depression and anxiety also didn't answer why I behave so vastly different at home, which is my safe space, and outside of home. Why I can socialize freely with people I love and feel safe around, but not others, even though I know them for years. Why I was so irritated by certain sounds, even quiet sounds, lights, which are, to be honest, shining right to my face right now, but I will somehow do this. Those lights cause a headache. Like, seriously, it causes a headache after around 1 hour. So yeah, wait, I lost. Sounds, lights, and also smells, or even some minor things like thing being placed at a wrong angle or a wrong spot, light turned on or off with the wrong hand, coffee in a different cup than usual, mixing sugar in coffee with not enough spins of the spoon to that degree. And the most triggering of all, well, I bet probably majority of you can relate, change of plans and unplanned events. Those are absolute worst. It was so bad that sometimes it went to a degree when I became angry and went into full meltdowns or shutdowns or whatever, when eventually I just disconnected from the surrounding world. Like I was as if I wasn't here. I was just sitting and trying to leave my body or something like that. Well, at least that's how I can describe it. So yeah, it's not fun. Oh, and I just remembered something else. I got a new bed instead of super uncomfortable sofa because I was waking up uh, in pain on that sofa. It was super bad. So I've got a proper bed with a really good mattress, really comfy and all that. And you know what? I couldn't sleep in that bed for a couple of months. I mean, I slept in it, but I was waking up more than usual. I usually wake up like 5 times a night, but I was waking up, I don't know, constantly. I could remember my entire night from when I lay down until I got up. So basically, sleep was so crappy that I couldn't sleep in it. And I was thinking, why? It's so comfy, it's so good. And I realized it's probably just because it's new and it's different. The diagnosis also answered to all these questions, to all these things, weird things. And finally, why I never lost passion for my favorite hobby. Well, I guess autism answers to those questions, especially regarding my hobby, since the one symptom of depression, despite the source you read or listen or watch, be it scientific source or some, usual media, usual pop media, but there's always that one symptom of depression which is mentioned, and it's the loss of interest in your hobbies and or favorite activities. I guess I didn't lose interest in it because it's my autistic special interest. That's my answer. I cannot answer it any other way. I I've got diagnosed with depression by every single psychiatrist I visited. Like they didn't even doubt that. So that's an absolute positive that I have depression. Mild, severe, well, that's a question. But yeah, and it just it just felt weird that I never lost interest in it. Like for my entire life, since I don't know, age of 7, it just stayed like that. It never went away. So it felt very weird. Earlier in life, in childhood, I had many more interests, but since depression hit me in early teens, those interests started fading away until most of them, except playing video games, disappeared. I still had and still have some other interests, and currently I have more interests and hobbies than I had, I don't know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe. But it's much harder to focus on them or find motivation. I actually have to fight for motivation very often. Nevertheless, it's a bit easier now, though. So, yeah, that's pretty much about hobbies or special interests. I was trying to fight myself all my life, pretend, and I know I'm speaking from a perspective of a person with autism, depression, and anxiety, so obviously that may not apply to every autistic person, and besides, it's a spectrum, so anyway, it probably won't apply to everybody. But just keep that in mind that I'm speaking from a perspective as somebody who has also mental disorders and illnesses. I was trying to fight myself all my life, pretend, fake, fit in, lie. In other words, just mask. It was just masking, but the only consequence from doing that were traumas again and again, all over and over and over again, one after another. Absolute loss of hope to fit in until I realized that it's mostly neurotypical people who are fake and like to pretend. And to be honest, I don't want to fit in anymore. I don't want to fight anymore. What's the point? Why should I lie and pretend to fit in a fake world where majority of people are liars and they're just fake? Majority of people don't want to understand. They don't care. They only care about themselves, about making themselves look better compared to others. It's like a competition, I would say, which I don't understand. It's like who's prettier, who has a more expensive car, clothes, watches, jobs, careers, and so on. It's like a never ending race or competition or whatever they call it, or I don't care. I don't care about that. I don't want to pretend. I don't want to compete or sacrifice my time and health to just somehow humiliate someone else so I could brag about that I'm better than them. I just don't care about that. And to me, most, and I say most, not all, most neurotypical people are like that. I don't want to pretend I care how much you paid for your new jewelry and praise you how cool you are because it was so expensive. I don't care about your career you keep bragging about. I want to talk about games, music, movies, space, cosmic space, Earth, science, or some more serious conversation leaning towards philosophical thoughts. Maybe you say that's selfish? No, not at all. I want to hear about all those things I just mentioned a minute ago. If I care about you, I am interested in how's it going for you, what did you do, and so on, what happened at work. But I also want to hear something else, please. I want to hear about your hobbies. What did you eat today? What kind of pizza you had today? What is worrying you? What made you smile? And talk about those things. I want to know why a certain hobby fascinates you so much, or something else makes you happy, or sad, or frustrated. I want to know that. I just don't want to hear bragging or some gossip which happened at work. It feels like neurotypical people barely have any interests and hobbies, to be honest, as if they only care about career and buying stuff and just simply don't have time for anything else. Like building a good image of themselves to make others envious while trying to fill a void inside of them or something like that. At least that's how I see majority of people. I'm sorry, maybe it's just me, but that's how my brain works. And I'm sorry I started rambling a bit here, maybe too much. Sorry, I will try to focus on the topic. This is why I don't want to fit into this society anymore. And I want honest people who don't hide behind any masks, who are not afraid to say they have weaknesses, who are not afraid to say that something bad happened. Simply those who act natural, just conversation about different topics, about anything. You don't have to hide and pretend. Just be yourself. And speaking of traumas, whenever I try to push myself into being normal, each time it traumatized me a little, and that cup of trauma slowly filled up. And the result of that is that I can barely go outside now. I can barely socialize in real life because of all the awkward, frustrating situations throughout my entire life, and being told, just be normal or get over yourself. Well, shove your normal where the sun don't shine, okay? I don't even want to be so called normal anymore. All those just get over yourself, just push yourself, and it will be all right. No, it won't. It made everything worse. Made anxiety worse, made depression worse, made self esteem lower, trust issues, lack of confidence. That's what it led to. But nevertheless, of course, you have to push yourself at least a little. But whenever you start feeling uncomfortable, you should get out. So you should know your limits. And now, I don't care. It's hard, but it's easier when I know that I'm gonna do what I feel is safe for me, when I know where my limits are, and when I know that I will only push myself as much as I think is safe for my mental health. It makes life hard, but it was hard before anyway. It's hard to go somewhere, especially into crowded spaces or institutions. Shopping is extremely excruciating. Filling out forms when I could forget how old I am. I'm not joking. That happened a few times. Sorry, my throat was giving up, so I had to get some water. Okay, so what I was talking about? Oh, the age, right? Yeah. Okay. This the stress is that high. The heart is pounding, sweat is flowing down my face. And throughout my life, after going somewhere I didn't feel safe, I needed a day, sometimes few days of recovery and peace. Now, thanks to diagnosis, I clearly know my limits and my triggers, what triggers certain reactions and what makes life a tiny bit easier, because I know what to avoid and how to do things to not damage my mental health more, or at least do them with as little stress as possible. Then morning rituals. I say morning because I get up way after noon. Before bed rituals, my daily routine scheduled, having reminders, and most importantly, reserving times to inability to do anything. I find this one of the most important things. Before, I was pushing myself, trying to fill the whole day with a schedule. Now, I try to reserve time for relaxing, doing nothing, recharging my battery while keeping routine and rituals. I might do less though, but I do most things I planned, which means burnouts are less likely to happen. Diagnosis explained why I feel so drained after going out. Even if I go out for like 1 hour, I need half a day or the rest of the day to recover and recharge my battery. Fortunately, my special interest, which is video games, eventually turned into streaming those games on Twitch, which is kind of relaxing and it's my safe space to just chill. Oh, but you ask, but the people are watching and you must interact with them. Yes, I thought exactly the same for years, maybe even a decade, I would say, before I started. And I was dreading and having anxiety attacks even thinking about that. But one day I just tried and I realized something. I realized that I feel safe because there's end stream button, there are ban and block buttons on the internet, and most importantly, when people are not around me physically, when I can't see their eyes, faces, them breathing to my neck, you know, around, it's so much easier. Like all that all that stress, all that anxiety, well, not all of it, but a huge part of it, it kind of fades away and make things a bit easier. It also provides me a way to socialize, at least to some degree, and I'm happy with that. Same as this video. While I'm writing my script, no one's watching while I'm recording this, no one's watching. I'm safe, no eyes around. I'm alone, relaxed. It's almost 4 a.m. And worst case scenario, I mean, I can just delete the video. I just feel safe about this. So, in the end, is it worth to get diagnosed? Yes, definitely. And yes, I know self diagnosis is popular and accepted, and I personally accept that too. But as an autistic person, I needed that confirmation from a professional. I guess that's autistic brain just kicking in with its black and white thinking or something. If it's not official, it may not be true. So I need a guarantee. Or it may really not be true. Who knows? When you know it is autism, you can look for ways to help yourself. You can look for various, communities and so on. You know what triggers you, what upsets you, how to keep yourself organized and calm. You find tips and apply them in your daily life. But what if it's not autism? Or what if it's autism and something else? Many symptoms overlap with mental disorders. And in my opinion, sometimes it could be harmful to apply certain measures to yourself which are not meant for you. And maybe, just maybe, you can do more harm than actually help yourself. So I will firmly repeat, diagnosis is important. It gives you peace. It lets you accept your true self, forgive yourself, taking off your mask and being yourself. But if you're completely sure, if you're happy with self-diagnosis, well, all the best to you. I believe you. And yes, of course, I will not get my lost years back. Missed opportunities, and I can't forget all the suffering, and daily life doesn't become that much easier. Just maybe more balanced and you being more aware of what, when, and how. And since I'm getting old and my physical health is in poor condition, I know I won't live until 60, but I want to live what's left being free from the shackles of being normal. I'm tired of masking, lying, and pretending. So, no more masks, no more silence. I will speak up and I will try to be loud, although probably I'm pretty damn quiet. So, yeah, this was part two, a bit of a more extensive video, maybe. So, I hope you enjoy this. I hope some of you can relate to this. I also really would appreciate feedbacks in the comments. What else you want to hear me talking about or something like that. I really appreciate feedback. And I have some more videos planned. I just don't know when I'm gonna do them. It could be next week. It could be 3 months from now. I have no clue. Depends how I feel. But yeah, I guess. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you enjoyed the video, click the subscribe button, like, and yeah. And then wait for another one, which will happen someday. Other than that, well, just be kind to each other. Try to smile at least a bit each day, because that makes people around you happier and that makes everybody happier. So much love to you guys. And thank you for those who watched this. I will see you next time. Bye bye.